Welcome in, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I am your sole conductor in today's journey into the middle of the VRML, the heart of it. 2 gold teams battling it out in the NA East Division. Regions loosely applying here, as this is a Canadian versus US match. Raw meat versus the Têtes Brûlées, if I have it correct. It could be Brûlées, but I feel like it's Brûlées. Either way, a US versus Canadian matchup, and I'm excited to see what kind of action we get here this afternoon between, again, 2 teams that are right in the middle of the ladder, gold-ranked teams. So in that ladder, we have silver, bronze, gold, diamond, master. And so they're really, truly in the middle of the regular season ladder. And I'm very interested to see what these teams are going to bring to the table here. We are waiting on fifths to connect in on both sides, and we should be jumping into map 1 soon, which means we should be talking about the pick bands for the day. If you are just tuning in and you're not terribly familiar with Onward, it is a 5 versus 5 military simulator where the attacking team, the blue team, attacks an objective that is defended by the orange team, the Volk team. Scoring a series of points gets you map number 1. It's best of 7. You play 3 maps here. There is a predetermined map pool at the start of the season that you can pick from, and in this case, Raw Meat have banned the first 2 maps from that map pool, Downfall and Bazaar. The Têtes Brûlées have banned Suburbia and Snow Peak. And map number 1 looks like it is going to be Quarantine. We have almost everyone connected in for both sides, and then we should be into this matchup, but we can take a quick look at the active rosters for both sides today. Coming in from La Tête Brûlée, we have Rufio, Wolfgod, Manzin, Maxime Jourdain, and Jimbo Guile. Yeah, this team not terribly, not around for a long time. La Tête Brûlée created in season 13. And so far this season, they're a 2-1 record, beating teams like Dogs of War and Nordic Tactic and losing heavily to Primordial. I haven't seen a match from them, so maybe I have to try and get a game from Primordial in the near future here, but they're looking good so far this season, and over on Raw Meat's end. So far, we have Haywire Bubble, Nuglet Pablo, Llama Actual, Club J, and we're waiting on their 5th. They have several to choose from. Backwood Bear, Carried Hawk, Tony Touch. Because they do have that full roster, but hopefully they don't have issues getting that 5th in. Definitely don't want to be looking at a 4v5. Your season 14 caster debut. Let's take a look at Raw Meat. They've been around since season 11. A couple of casts in season 13, but only 2. So it's been a while since they've been able to be on the VRML stage, so to speak. Yeah, they've had about 2 casts a season, so they definitely don't want one of potentially, not to say they're only going to have 2 this season, but I want to squander those opportunities on the live stage. Either way, we hopefully will have a 5th connected in here shortly. I'm going to do a little investigative work, a little recon work, and see if there's any requests coming in for reservists. I don't see any from Raw Meat. Maybe they feel that just having 4 would be better. you know, sometimes that fifth, if they're not synced up with your team, can be worse for your team. We'll see if we can get any details. But that's what we are waiting for. That fifth to be in from Raw Meat's end. Ah, there they are. Backwood Bear it is. We do have a fifth that has connected in. There was apparently a little, some resets required, some tech issues. It looks like on Backwood Bear's end, who has connected in. And we do have a full lobby ready to go for round number 1 on Quarantine. You can look at the history of these teams to know how well they've played Quarantine. And actually, Raw Meat haven't played it yet this season. Interesting then that they pick into it. Maps like, well, a lot of the maps they have played so far are banned. Downfall, Suburbia, Snow Peak, top map of theirs off the table. And you can see Têtes Brûlées obviously targeting maps that Raw Meat has done well on. Suburbia and Arctic on their tail as well, 1-1 so far this season, so that could be something they bring out in map 3 potentially, but looks like we are ready to go as I've bought enough time for us to get into map number 1, round number 1 between Raw Meat and Têtes Brûlées. First objective of the afternoon puts us square in the middle of the bazaar, a hard-to-defend OBJ. And it's interesting to see the defensive spread here from Brûlées. They're not overextending. As I say that, Rufio tries to cross that far south street, but this north side is not overly pushed up. If anything, they're really waiting for any sort of advance from the north to come through, and then they'll fend it off. As I say that, a drone comes out, identifies both Wolf and Manzin, and you can see Manzin is already trying to rotate off this position. Backwood spots him, takes shots, does not connect fully, does manage to tag them once. But Manzin is able to drop in, heal. And Raw Meat continue to slowly work their way up around Têtes Brûlées. A team kill coming in. Oh, a Manzin. That is unfortunate. Not ready for their own teammate to be here in the ditch watching. Llama Actual gets rid of Wolf, and Têtes have only 2 left.
I got that one you called out.
Not bad positions to be holding. You know, Maxime does have an angle on the potential swing in, but there's so many different entry points from this north side that they have to cover. And in the meanwhile, you got 1 on objective Manzin. The only one holding this down, and ultimately out in a pretty open position. If there's anyone that were to go up onto the roof and look down in here, Manzin would be super exposed. So we'll see if Club J ends up doing that. They are tucked in a little bit tighter. If they do sit in that corner, they're better off. Maxime does catch 1. But like I said, there's multiple entry points, so Backwood doesn't have to push from basically the only lane that Maxime can cover. Club J seems keen on trying to assess where those shots came from. Like I said, they should be looking out over into the middle because they may also have an angle onto Manzin. If they looked hard enough through that hole in the wall, I think they'd see the movement there. But they blend in. You can see without the highlight around Manzin. I mean, they're impossible to identify on stream. I have them on a huge TV and I can barely see him there. In VR, it becomes even more challenging with pixel density and whatnot, so not surprised they don't see him. A flash comes up on the Club J Maxime. Not able to really push before that flash ends up dissipating, and Club should be able to see. Another one's coming. I think that caught Club. They're going to tuck it into the corner, and Maxime is able to push up with some great offensive maneuvering here and catch a kill. Big plays for Maxime to find 2 in the north, really bringing their team back into this. Rotation back could cost them, as Haywire does identify that. There's definitely an opportunity for a cap. Backwood puts some smokes on objective and pushes in. And so for now, everything's good, but anything can happen in 2 minutes. A smoke grenade doesn't quite go far enough. Almost over that wall. If that had gotten just over that wall, it would have been perfectly placed to completely deny vision from Maxime. Oh, Maxime, as I say that, though, they are able to look over this ledge, too, so they still would have been able to rotate here. Ooh, Manson goes in a trade on objective, and now Maxime is all alone. Being too far away from OBJ is very risky, but they are going to catch Nuglet trying to rotate up to the OBJ. Maybe Manson calling that out. But Maxime is clutching this one up for his team right now. This rotation for the Reds could cost them. They see Haywire there for a second. They're going to try and swing and challenge this. Haywire is not there to be found. Haywire certainly had seen Maxime. So both of these players trying to fake out the other. Well, maybe Haywire doesn't quite know where Maxime is. Maxime's way out in the open. They're going to swing and challenge, and Maxime's going to find the kills. 4 in the north. With some help from 1 on objective, and they clutch up their defensive round big time. Trying to think like really where things went wrong for Raw Meat there. Yeah, maybe it was they allowed Maxime to kind of slow play individually each attacker. They had a 2-5 advantage or 2-4. And so applying that pressure on the objective up through the center where they were in that, you know, South Hotel, I think maybe that's where they were a little bit off sync. But usually you do just kind of sit people up in this 3-story hotel as like a defensive measure. Overwatch on your attack as they approach the objective. It's also obviously a spot that you'll want to prevent the offense from getting in, but very interesting to see. We'll see what Brûlées does here as we get back into it. Pretty aggressive advance right up through the middle here from Maxime. A little over aggressive, as Backwood's gonna be able to catch that out. Like I had noted earlier, Brûlées were much farther back. They were set up a little bit deeper on their defense, and you can see Backwood here applying a little bit more pressure early. This does get them some control of north, and Jimbo is obviously ready for this swing, and Backwood was not ready to be caught out. 2 attackers still alive in the north. Brian OBJ with Nuglet finding a kill across the map on a Wolf God on 3-story.
Don't know if I got him. Oh wait, he's got me.
Like Manson's doing guesswork there. They think I think they're shooting at the rotating objective, which they think is a player. No, or they found that. No, they did find the kill. There is one down there on raw meat. Oh, they're looking for another, and they're gonna find Nuglet. Big kills for Têtes Brûlées. I knew I was missing something.
Wait.
Manson definitely doing a solid job. Those kills may allow Manson to also now cross the street. As I say that, looks like Haywire did have eyes on for a second. And Manson does get across. They should be able to easily get up onto the 3-story. Scoop up this res. We're going to zip over to Jimbo on the 2nd floor. A quick reload from Haywire puts him back in the action. Headshots coming in. Jimbo does back off. Haywire is going to apply the short corner pressure. Jimbo's going to tuck in around the corner. And there's a nice swing from Haywire. Aggressive pressure on defense, especially considering that there is a 2v2 and don't have a ton of objective coverage. I guess they do have Club J, who's on that objective. Oh, and a big swing from Haywire onto Rufio. It puts Têtes Brûlées into a 1v2 with 2.5 left. Manson should be able to get this res, like I said, and turn this into a 2v2, though. Two minutes left. Oh, and Manson didn't get the res in time. They bled out on the roof, and so Manson now is into a 1v2. No res available. And this does work for raw meat. A minute 20 left. Manson's eventually going to have to push in as long as the raw meat doesn't overextend or look for these kills and just plays around objective. Find some success here because Manson really doesn't know where these defenders are right now. He hasn't gained any info over this overwatch position, and they're going to get headshot down. Raw meat are going to find themselves around on defense as well. We're all tied up on quarantine. Don't really know, again, where we go from here. There is a lot of close quarters. I guess Abandon is on the table. I want to take a look at the match history from LTV here. And, I mean, they've won Abandon once so far this season. So I could see us going to a bit of a range situation for map 2. Otherwise, Subway is there. Cargo, Shipyard, Arctic. A lot of tight maps. But Abandon's really the only one on long range that's left with Snow Peak and Downfall. Bizarre, even with the mid-range there, is gone. We'll have to see what we get for map number 2, but we are nowhere near there. We've just had our first 2 rounds hatched out, and Both of them came pretty dang close. We now just shift to the other side of this building for our second objective of the day. We do have some standout shooters on both teams. KD's showing Haywire bubble at 4-1, and again Maxime with that big clutch 4-1 as well. Into the action we go for round 3. Ooh, and already some early shots coming in on the offense. A pretty quick spawn onto the objective, and they're going to power in from the north. They've given away their position trying to go for those quick shots, so Maxime does have eyes on a cross and does catch Backwood trying to move out. Nuglet does at least get a kill to turn this back 4-4. So the shots they took early do pay off. But again, their spawn point has been given away. And you can look at the overhead. You can see everyone is focused in over on this north side right now on LTB.
Rotating.
Could be a little bit of time before we do see some action, interestingly enough, off of what was a very fast play. It's now a bit of a pause. The spawn point attack has essentially stopped. Haywire is the only one slowly inching forward, and they could inch forward pretty good here. Maxime is very focused on the far north. They don't have a line onto Haywire here. The only one that does have visual at some eventually is going to be the 3-story defender there, but for now Haywire can push all the way up to that street right across from objective. There's a drone floating around as well, just in front of Haywire, likely relaying information. And I think or what Llama Actual was shooting at here at the LMG, but oftentimes just putting out suppressive fire, maybe onto the 3-story. Ideally not at Nuglet, considering Nuglet is inside there, where they're looking now.
Confirming.
Jimbo holding in that basement position, and Haywire does go down. Rubio does catch that long-range angle, and there was a path to take for Haywire, where again they really wouldn't have been seen, but yeah, this one open space there. They had to go up against the crates and push up that way, and they could have literally just crossed the street unseen and pushed objective stairs and capped, but you don't have that overhead visual when you're playing, and you can't really tell where your defenders are. So you see 6 Club is looking for a refrag from a distance, but it's not gonna be them that will find it. If anything, it's gonna be Pablo. And you can hear the footsteps there. Pablo is inching their way now, making sure that they are dead silent because they want to push up behind Rufio and maybe even knife this kill. If they can knife kill Rufio, it's going to actually be pretty big because then that information is not going to be conveyed to the team unless the team is actively checking their tablets. They won't see that they're missing a defender here. And so at least for some time, a knife kill here could set up Pablo and this team big time. They have to go up the stairwell, but again, I don't think Rufio is looking anywhere underneath them at any capacity. As they do drop down now onto the second floor, you can see how tunnel vision they are. Yeah, and Pablo has to take the kills, has to take the shots. They can't delay. Pablo calls in for the push as they do find this kill on the backside. The go, go, go call out comes, and that's Club J's indicator to push forward. Also actually pretty close as they start dishing out smokes as well. Pablo is pushing in. Smokes are coming out. Flashes are coming in. Maxime is crossing the street, and Actual is pushing in onto Wolfgod. Wolfgod finds the kill, but they are being flanked by Jay, who's inside and finds the trade. Brûlées defending what was almost a perfectly coordinated push there. They were just missing Jay by a few seconds. If Jay was there earlier, he would have found the back of an attacker, maybe even saved his teammate. Could have been 2 on objective versus 1 retaking, and that could have been the 3-2 lead for Raw Meat. But it is a defensive W. And a 2-1 lead for the Canadians. I do appreciate you if you are stopping by. Big shout out to you. Welcome in. If you're chatting in chat, I know who you are and can shout you out, but for now I appreciate everyone that is just tuning in and enjoying some, again, mid-tier Onward action. I get an idea of what the middle of the pack looks like. We've seen new teams this season playing. We've seen veteran players on new teams playing. We've seen age-old battles unfold on the EU already. I mean, it's been so far a pretty great season with very good matches. A few teams that I do want to keep my eye on, teams like OP, certainly looking good coming in as a newly formed team this season. But it's also always good, again, to look at the middle of the ladder, see how the competition and where the skill level of the league lies. Kind of a good indicator of that when you look at 2 gold teams as they battle it out. And this is all obviously teams that filled with players that know what they're doing. They understand the map and positions and the crossing, and they're very much coordinated when they're pushing in. They're synced up on their play attempts, at least, as they do try and adjust off losses and whatnot. And so far, certainly fun to tune into, but we'll have to see if that continues for the rest of the series, as Quarantine is really one of my favorite maps and one of the more competitive maps. We'll see, depending again on this map pick. If you go to somewhere like Arctic, one of these teams can kind of run away with things. But again, for now, we sit on Quarantine, and as we go into our next round, we wait for Têtes Brûlées to set up off of their spawn point, which will take some time considering the objective's position. We're not going to run into anything pushing in all the way up to the south here. No one with any eyes on. And even then, they're not going to see anything here. I do think Backwood has a line onto this opening, onto that cross towards Pablo. But Pablo really is the only south defender. They prioritized everyone else holding the objective instead of, like we saw with The LTB defense, they set up inside that 3-story and are covering down on the objective. So, it's, you know, different philosophies on defense and different strategies to try and throw your opponent off. God, maybe running into Backwood. No, they don't get identified on this cross. But it is just them as the point attacker here, and they are going to get behind Pablo because they're taking this long route. They're actually going to get behind this whole defense, really. They don't have anyone sitting back watching this far backside. If you go on board Backwood, you're going to see they're mostly actually focused in the north. They are taking periodic looks over here.
There's one in center burning, 2nd floor.
But Pablo is down. Wolf God is kicking off their attack on the backside, and we don't see Backwood here turning to check this. Haywire is a little bit concerned. And reinforcements are coming for Wolf God. Maxime on the back end, and Wolf God taking up onto the 2-story, trying to catch Backwood out. The shots were close enough just to push them back for now, but it's 3 set up here now. With Maxime and Rufio crossing. They're setting up for a flank from the back end. That could be dangerous if they can get set up on this objective. It's definitely capable. It puts them with a map W. Then they go into their map pick. Rufio almost goes down as Backwood does hit them once. Actual finds Manzin on the front side, and so it is still 4 left for Têtes Brûlées. Where is that 4th? It's Jimbo. And Backwood is not checking that north side, so that's going to be pretty open.
There's a smoke on uplink.
Backwood concerned about the smokes to push. Very much coming in as Maxime, Wolf, and Rufio make it across. Jimbo on the other side, so they're definitely going to be able to pinch, and Haywire goes down to a nice peek over the roof of the hood, excuse me, of the car. And Wolf God tries to push in. Llama Actual is there to defend. They find 2, but one of those kills is a trade, and so it is a 2v2. Backwood still pretty far away, and more smokes are coming onto this objective. Club J's in the basement and could swing up. Oh, and Maxime was just far back enough to rotate around this. If Jay comes up, they're going to run into that smoke. You gotta wonder if Têtes Brûlées are thinking cap now. Only 45 seconds left. And Maxime is going to see, potentially, Jay peeking. No, they don't see Jay peeking that corner. Oh, they don't know where Backwood is. You know, he's somewhere in that room, but not where. Club Jay is there to find a kill. It's Maxime, actually, that gets it, though. Or excuse me, it is Club J that found that kill, and I thought it was Backwood that found that. But then Backwood does clean things up, and Ramit take a defensive round. Two apiece, and Maxime adding on to their 4-kill clutch, making a total of 7. Wolf God coming alive with 4 kills. Llama Actual with 4 as well. So everyone really is shooting well here on both sides, and everyone's finding kills and connecting. It does make for kind of a big question mark of a match. Like, what are you actually going to get? Our next objective, and we are just getting polar opposite ends of the map here as we go to the other side of the map. Another objective with the ability to put your back against a wall, essentially. And really be able to face forward across the map. We'll see kind of if there is any cap attempts. Again, Raw Meat are now going into a potential series point if they can put up a cap. I see Mango in chat. Appreciate you jumping in, commenting on the Rubio kill. Indeed. Some good shots coming in here so far, and again, good coordination. Imagine you meant Rufio, but yeah. So far, pretty good stuff. That's what you expect out of Gold Tier, though, and looking forward to more as we get into round number 5. Wow, I was looking for the rest of the team. They are all rotating in from the south. And they may run into some some trouble here as Maxime is set up. I was wondering if Maxime was going to keep pushing, but actually holding a bit of a later angle. And they are set up in between these two tankers. Makes them hard to hit with a grenade. But I don't know where Maxime is looking right now because they really do want to be watching behind them for this south approach that's coming in soon. Oh, they're looking for the drone.
Calm down.
Oh, and Backwood sees Maxime but can't find the shots. Llama also. Oh, but a nice pop up there from Maxime.
Well.
Backwood's still here though and knows. Likely radio this information in, so maybe the first points for Raw Meat will be to get rid of Maxime on defense here. It's going to be a nade, cooked, tossed, air burst, and caught. Maxime out. That's really the only way to get Maxime there, is if you air burst a nade in between those crates. And while Backwood catches it to confirm, will be tough, but so will the res. I doubt Wolf God or Jimbo will invest in pushing up here to get this. And Backwood catches themselves getting shot at by multiple angles here. Manson from across the map tried to find it but couldn't. Definitely hard to connect those long-range shots like that. But, oh, Backwood's in a very good position. They can see these rotations from Wolf God. No, and they were looking over at that side towards Manson. But Manson finds the kill, and Haywire was just a little too slow. I don't think Manson can be spotted here by Haywire. If Haywire stands up. But they definitely know someone's here. Wonder if a utility piece is going to come in. Yep. Little flash up and over. Blind out Manson, and Haywire is going to take a little peek by swinging up the field. That is a beautiful maneuver there. Full understanding of how to approach that position. A great grenade toss, a flash to pushing up onto that engine to get the angle and find the kill.
Minute 30, we're good. Should be able to get the revive.
Raw meats. Set up big time now in a 4v2 if they can get the res, which Club J is rotating for now. There's the res. A kill comes in the meantime, and now Wolfgod is alone in defending this, and they are not watching the objective. They are focused on what is the attacking position of Pablo. And smokes have come out. And I don't know that Wolfgod realizes they're alone just yet, but they may be able to hold down this push. No, they missed Club J. And this could be Raw Meat taking the map. If Club J can get inside and get past this defense, there's a chance. Wolfgod is also here, and they're going to go down, so it's going to be instead a round W coming through, but not with a cap. And for the first time, Raw Meat take the lead. We'll swap sides. Raw Meat will defend, and you could hear on the comms Raw Meat saying that's what they needed, because they know that if they can just now really patiently play this objective, there is a decent chance that they'll be able to hold on to this one. It is a little bit hard to defend. I'm not going to be, you know, in terms of where you set up. Like we saw here, a lot of positions have counters. A good flash to the window and rolling up along this to get the peak up over the top to catch that kill. Yeah, it's very nice. Very good map knowledge, and ultimately a pretty big play. Not to say that it won them that map, because there's plenty of others, but the U.S. team takes the lead. Canada map down 1. Again, I'm thinking on where we head for map 2, and right now I'm seeing Raw Meat playing. Well, I guess I'm trying to think back on Brûlée's offensive pushes. I feel like we've seen Raw Meat playing faster. And if Brûlée like to play things, you know, slow on a map like this, I imagine, again, they maybe want to keep that kind of longer range, slower momentum going into their next map. We'll have to see, though. Again, we're not there yet. Raw Meat are on the defense. Brûlée have to win 2 or get a cap. And they will be able to take themselves a map.
Kick your gas station.
Jimbo identifies 2 early at gas station. He'll even be able to find Backwood if he's not careful. Oh, the shot's just barely missing. And Brûlée have effectively set up nicely in the south. And I gotta wonder if the plan here is gonna be a heavy suppression in the set. I mean, basically what we saw Raw Meat do. They're gonna send one to try and take out Pablo, be a challenge to Haywire and Club, and then the rest of this team will push in through gas station. Obviously a very different defensive setup with Llama Actual very deep in the back. Very much relying on Backwood to be a front point of defense, but they have multiple layers here.
Nothing confirmed.
Ooh, Pablo does find at least that north attacker. And so it is going to be an entire south push, and Backwood essentially fending off all of Let That Brûlées. Ooh, and that quick peek almost cost him. As an angle, they're trying to just get their aim steady. Need to hit a very tight shot. And there has been one that split off from the pack in the south, realizing that they can't all just push in, as they're essentially trapped here, but they don't really have a whole lot of options up the middle either, as we do hear shots coming in from Haywire, who is positioned here to watch this middle approach. He has the backup of Club J, and so Brûlées don't have any easy routes in front of them. Ooh, but now they do. South opens up with Backwood going down big time. Haywire going down is pretty big too. Raw Meat get chewed up and they're down to 3. Pablo still though could be a very big element in this defense. If they get smoked out, it could be bad news, but they could swing here and be a big threat onto the south approach late in this push. Yeah, the full push is coming in. Shots from Pablo do get Raw Meat back into things. Regaining a little control. 2 minutes are on the clock. Brûlées must win this round to take us to a round 7. And you do have Manzin invested in pushing inside this rebel building. When Pablo's dropped down now into the danger zone with Manzin.
One's in impact right now. One's in impact.
Pablo clearly heard Manzin. Utility now getting thrown out, and Manzin trying to clear through here. Actual shuts down Maxine. Manzin maybe deciding to rotate around. Pablo gonna be swinging out the window. No. Gonna get Manzin in time. They will. They'll find the back of Manzin. Meanwhile, Rufio trying to push in. Gets past Club J, and it's a 1v3. The call out comes in as Rufio's pushing in with a minute left. Oh, and a great flash coming through there. Just gonna push objective. Can't get past 3, holding things down. And Raw Meat takes up the lead 4-2. Yeah, chat's a little quiet, but that's a-okay. I'm happy to be tuning in and casting the match, and if anything, I do it for the teams, and so I know these squads wanted their game cast, and we're happy to have it, so they'll be watching back on the VOD, in which case, hello, good game so far. Certainly fun to tune into. Appreciate you watching back the VOD if you are, but if you're here live, then big shout outs to you. I do see again, Ghost. tuning in here, cheering for USA over Canada, which is very much the battle that we are tuning into here this afternoon. We gotta do some lobby magic to figure out what we're gonna get for map number 2, so do bear with us as we sort things out. But Raw Meat do manage to take their map pick. Now we go into Têtes Brûlées' choice. And it looks like it is going to be Subway. My information is correct. Which I think out of all of the close quarters options left is the safe one. Surprised again we didn't go to something like Abandoned. Felt like that would maybe be what Brûlées needs, but they're not exactly finding success on the range with Quarantine, so. It is. Again, I appreciate you bearing with me here as we do have to do these lobby resets each time. Not too big a deal, but does put a bit of a pause in the flow of the overall series as I have to rejoin in, but we are all sorted. And again, map 2 is going to be Subway, so going as the map choice from Têtes Brûlées. They'll be kicking things off on offense, Raw Meat on the defense. Our first objective right in the center of the map. On the main floor, the middle floor. One that is capable. And definitely will be an interesting starting point to this map too. Curious to see what changes Subway bring, and if we do see a roster swap from Raw Meat, as we are waiting for a 5th to connect in. But on Têtes Brûlées' side, we do not see any subs. Rufio, Maxime Jourdain, Jim Bogiel, Wolf God, and Manzin. All on the Têtes Brûlées' team. I believe that means the Burning Heads. As is their logo. A burning skull. And then on Raw Meat right now, we have Backwood Bear, Haywire, Bubble, Llama Actual, and Pablo. And we're waiting on their 5th, and like I had said earlier, they do have several to choose from. I don't imagine it's a technical issue because Backwood was the one that was having them with map 1, and so it could be a sub based on the map. We'll just have to wait and see. And then we'll be getting into map 2. Let me grab there. USA team, though, on Raw Meat's end is definitely representing, and Têtes Brûlées filled with all Canadian players, so it is very much a USA versus Canadian battle this afternoon, if you weren't aware. Why we do see, again, Ghost cheering for USA in chat. And yeah, we do have a sub being brought in, one from their active roster, but it is Tony Touch getting brought in for Subway on Raw Meat's end. Let's see if that addition is enough to give them the edge on their opponent's map pick. But we should be getting into the action pretty shortly here for map number 2, so not too much waiting around in between. Again, lobby swapping this ends up being pretty quick. But we can take a gander at the rosters here again just before we dive in, as we should be getting into round 1 again any moment now with both teams in lobby and ready to go. There it is, the sound of action unfolding. And into it we go, round number 1. Again, that middle platform OBJ. Certainly vulnerable to aggressive pushes. Backwood are looking to almost counter-aggress here as the nade and flare come in. Try and disrupt what could have been a bit of a faster push, but ultimately wasn't. A lot of the game of Onward is about timing and understanding where your opponent can be at what point. That whole push is all about timing. And there can be players that do get very aggressive on these stairs, and fortunately for Têtes Brûlées, they played it a little bit more passive, almost anticipating some level of counter-aggression. Gotta wonder, yep, there's that C4. Oftentimes defused with a grenade toss in the doorway. Rufio doesn't do that, they're gonna have a bad time. C4 goes off and down goes Rufio. They also had Backwood holding an angle in there. On the other side of things, it looks like Haywire found one, naked two. Brûlées down to just 2 on their map pick to start things off. Not ideal, but I was gonna say Wolfgod couldn't find the back of Llama, but Llama is ready and waiting. Jimbo becomes the lone attacker left, and they're going to be running into Tony and Backwood holding down the exit point. Oh, and Jimbo thinks the footsteps could be underneath them. And Tony definitely not going to be ready for another one come out of this stairwell. They've basically given up on defending it.
I'll stay tucked on maintenance.
Backwoods dropped off, and Jimbo's gonna find an easy kill. The whole defense is essentially rotated off of this point now, and so Jimbo has an opportunity to really kind of catch some rotations. Backwood takes up a pretty risky spot, but one that is confident in knowing that there's only one attacker left because they have accurate kill counts from that side and from kills that did come through earlier. Jimbo doesn't want to press their luck though, and is going to go for a basement reroute where they'll come out and challenge defenders that are ultimately ready for a push from this very bottom floor. Llama Actual still holding the stair the whole time they've been here. And that is a good indicator of a disciplined defender. Definitely valuable to have on the squad, and it definitely matters. That final kill is Llama holds down the basement, and Raw Meat with 4 left alive shut down. Têtes Brûlées trying to push in very nicely. Good C4 placement, good teamwork and coordination, and good cover angles, so in case one goes down they can back the other up, and that's definitely a good way to kick off their opponent's map choice. Definitely after coming off a 4-2 win on their map pick, they now take the lead early. We saw this happen with Têtes Brûlées on quarantine, though, so anything's really on the table. It does look like we have some tech issues in lobby, so hopefully we can sort those out and get back into the action shortly. Timeout does get called, I'll try and let you know, but hopefully for now it's just a quick reset on both sides, and into round 2 we go. There's Manson, so no sub or anything like that. That certainly could be something that happens, but I doubt Raw Meat would have the desire to sub someone out after really having a nice win. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. But yeah, we do have 5 for Brûlées, so don't imagine it's a timeout. I'm not getting any of that info from Raw Meat. Try and get the info though to know if we're going to be cutting to intermission for a bit of a break, or oh, looks like we're back. Or at least we have Backwood back in lobby. And into the action we go. Round number 2 of map 2. How do Brûlées set up for what could be a very aggressive push from Raw Meat? Jimbo is going to be set up in the basement. And yeah, deploying some pretty standard C4. Like I said, can be countered. All you gotta do is really get a nade into this doorway here, which, like I say, all you have to do. But really anywhere along the stairs does defuse it. I don't think that nade will do it quite far enough. Does allow them to push, but still this C4 is just above them and they're not going to see it. Actually don't know. Oh, did we have a disconnect? No. Where is the defender that has the clacker that was just here behind me? Oh, it's Jimbo. He's where? Where is Jimbo? Oh, way on the other side. We couldn't find them, but they were waiting to see anybody there, and that's 2 down for Raw Meat. Jimbo hasn't confirmed them yet, so maybe some prioritization for Llama to get the res. Maybe they won't get there in time if Manzin or Rufio push it. And Llama is trying to get there for the res. Manzin seems to be pushing for what could be the confirms. Rufio's a little concerned that that could be an enemy. Tony can definitely be res, but Backwood might get confirmed before that they can get picked up.
If someone comes up to maintenance to pick us up, get
Especially
Tony first, but don't peek out onto the track.
Oh wow, and Backwood literally saying what I was just talking about here. I realize sometimes I gotta turn the night vision on Subway. But directing Llama to not go too far down the stairs, just take the tight corner and drop down to get Tony. Which Llama will do. The res is gonna come in, Tony's up. 3 are here on objective side. Jimbo is also still holding, and Pablo does manage to get around.
Safe?
Just do it quick and don't expose yourself to the track.
Someone smoke it.
They don't know Jimbo's there. Shots are coming in now. Smoke does come out. It's a little bit too far.
I'm on my stomach. Stay low, okay? Stay low.
Jimbo does get Backwood bare. Not sure where Backwood. Oh, they confirmed Backwood. Okay, so Pablo not going to be able to get that res. Now Pablo and Axe will find themselves kind of trapped with Tony on a very short corner, getting very skinny to make sure that they don't get tagged by Jimbo's fire. And it is Raw Meat in a very hard spot right now. Haywire needs to save them.
Well, still 4 of us.
Pablo's managed to retreat. And Haywire's not going to find an angle here. It's a very good spot right now. Jimbo's doing a very good job of holding this Raw Meat team down. Oh, there was a team kill that I was worried about from Pablo. I was watching them in the basement. I saw, oh, that certainly won't happen. But it does. Manson goes down to a nice pickup, and Pablo at least maybe redeems themselves a bit. Actuals taking shots at their teammates' position. And so some definite confusion on Raw Meat's end. That trade may force Jimbo off of this position.
L'objectif, Max, fais juste un clic.
1 minute left on the clock. And Jimbo has the final 2 attackers pinned. It's all about Jimbo pulling off this angle or going down. Either that or actual go in from the basement point. Tony tries to catch Jimbo, but can't. Eventually, they're going to have to go. Jimbo's going to have to go. If Tony wants to. Oh, and Llama goes down. Jimbo defending well here. Tony goes underneath the angle, and Jimbo finds that second kill. They could not get Jimbo in that back corner. And they had no smokes, which would have been the only thing that, I mean, an easy thing that would have countered that angle. You throw a smoke at anywhere in the middle of this lane, and you deny Jimbo the vision. A single smoke anywhere along this track would have done that job, but instead they throw one on the other side of the track and trap themselves into a corner. It might have been the worst thing they could have done. Pablo certainly had the right idea, but then the team kill in the basement kind of ruined the basement setup, so a chaos, a round of chaos for sure, but it does tie things up evenly, one apiece. A few more folks stopping in here. Ghost hanging out, Panda, Bob the Gamer, Little Lion. Appreciate you all stopping by, enjoying the action. Our next OBJ takes us to the upstairs outdoors position. I feel like it's been a while since I've actually had this objective in a league match, but we'll be going to the marketplace.
I'm gonna flash upstairs. Let's go. I hope they come my way. I can't wait to shoot. I hope you kill 3 of them. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm looking. I hope I get through the fuck.
Ooh, Tony had almost not loaded in. But he's there. Everything should be in order. Haywire is playing aggressive. He's managed to likely flash Rufio's position, ducks under the line, and finds the headshot. Now they have control of stairs. Going to be tough for Manson and Maxime to push in, but Maxime has tucked into a tight corner, so they might be able to get some utility up onto this stairwell spot. Another kill, flashed out, and Maxime does at least push up to get the refrag. Rami go down 1, but not before losing, finding, excuse me, 2. grabbing a smoke, and we'll zip over to Jimbo, who's making their way out on the other side. They'll be eventually running into a defense stacked around objective. Tony definitely threw a C4 somewhere. Pablo takes out Wolf, so it is a 2v4. Brûlées having a tough time on their initial effort getting out of their spawn. Everyone's really holding late angles for raw meat. No one's watching this long hallway, so Maxime can push. So can Jimbo. They can coordinate a pinch onto this defense and have a pretty decent attempt at getting rid of raw meat on the objective. Here, throw a flash through the doorway. A lot of options for Jimbo to push Tony. And then again, that puts the objective defense in a bad spot, and Pablo has to do a kind of a long rotation, so the 2v3 on OBJ is very much a possibility. Maxime does fly around the corner and catch Backwood right away. And now Tony is focusing on this end, not on Jimbo on the short corner, who definitely heard Tony. And Tony goes down. Llama's down on objective. Brûlées have full control, and Pablo has to crash. Brûlées doesn't know they have full control. They don't know where Pablo is until now. They know Pablo is. Pablo swings to find one, tries to blind fire swing onto Jimbo to find the second, and he'll get it. What a crazy retake. That is really, quite literally blind luck as they hit fire and spray at their opponent until they find them and find the kill. Raw meat, hang on, and go up 2-1. Hey, we had Bob the Gamer VR come in, raided with a party of 7. That was about 16 minutes ago, so, you know, great job of me. Welcome to the party. Appreciate that raid, and welcome in anyone from that stream. We appreciate you. Thank you for that support. And again, I apologize for being late, but we do have to run that delay so we can maintain competitive integrity. Which is something we try to do our best with. 6-minute delay obviously means that you can't cheat, you can't get any info, because by the time you would be looking at the stream, the round would be over, and so it's kind of the idea behind it. It does obviously mean that I'm sometimes late on the shout-outs and the appreciations, like also Mango Hog coming in, dropping a follow, which we do appreciate. And back into the series we go with Raw Meat looking at map and series point if they can find a cap here, which is not easy but doable depending on how they approach this objective. Oh, the early guess nade onto Maxime shuts down them from peeking. That is a big nade that denies any early aggression, and Backwood sets up very early catch out any rotations if Manzan were to decide to rotate. The res is there, so Wolf is pushing to get it. And Backwood is trying to get up here to get the confirm in time. Smoke comes in, and they follow that up with the confirm. Man, Wolf God is in the deep corner. Blind fire is coming in there. A flash that lands almost on top of Backwood and blinds them. Wolf God's going to try to swing through the smoke. They look over towards Pablo, and they don't know
53.
that Backwood is there. Jimbo finally getting Brûlées a kill, and so Raw Meat do lose one, trying to push in from the other side. In the meantime, we have no real push from Haywire yet on the north, and Rufio has crashed back to objective because they've lost on objective defense. So, and now with that nade, Rufio definitely aware there is one in the north who is throwing that utility. Jimbo catches Pablo with a nice C4 detonation, but not ready for actual on the other side, who gets the refrag after Jimbo's goes for that confirm. The whole defense of Brûlées is getting surrounded here. All just, I guess, a matter of if Raw Meat can sync up on their pushes here. Objective is available for a cap. I mean, it's really not even contested. A smoke or a slow crawl here to the corner. I think you can cap in this little alcove right here, which would be denying Rufio vision. And so Backwood could crawl up here for a two-pointer and put Raw Meat into the W town for the series. It's going to come down to Rufio being distracted by Haywire effectively. There's the tablet. Backwood making sure they know where their team is. And right in here with objective. Tablet comes out as they know Rufio's distracted. Backwood's capping. This could be Raw Meat taking the map, and it is. Haywire and Backwood celebrating with Backwood capping in a huge clutch play to get them map 2 and the victory. The cap gets you 2. And despite Brûlées with Jimbo with 7 kills and Jordim with 4, doing pretty well in the subway map, it kind of got scooped away from him. Map 3 now goes to Raw Meat as their pick. And I wonder where they will take us for the finale to the series. CEO87 jumping in with the first time chat. We appreciate you. Yeah, Onward is a game of killer camping spots. A constant battle to find the best one to outsmart your opponent. I'm just making sure I have the info for this. Ooh, and it looks like we are going to cargo to round this sucker off. Hey, so far a pretty quick series. Well, I say that, but not really, actually. Wow, kind of a long series. I lied. Maybe quarantine kind of did it for us there, but 2 maps done in an hour and change. Yeah, an hour and 10. Yeah, an average series time, I suppose. And again, we now go into our 3rd map, which is going to be cargo. Let me update that scoreboard as we have players loading in. And I'm sure Raw Meat are feeling good with that cap. And, you know, if anything, Brûlées can learn from their mistakes here by watching back that VOD footage and seeing how they got captured on. But yeah, cargo taking us into the very close quarters. Just waiting for a 5th from Raw Meat, and I do wonder if maybe they're going to be bringing in another sub here, really working their whole roster, getting in everyone some play time. Not the case. Tony Touch is the one that connects in, and so go ahead and give the players the go-ahead, and when they are prepped, we'll dive into our final map of the series. Shout out to everyone that has stuck through the full battle so far, and hats off to both teams who have been playing quite well today so far. Again, 2 gold squads, and the series was exactly what I'd expect. Teams going for caps, strategized defenses, good adaptions on offense to try and push in, and ultimately pretty good coordination between the players, which is something you don't necessarily see in every gold team. That coordination is really what pushes a team up into the Diamond Master Division. So you do really kind of see that up in the higher tiers. Does look like everyone is readied up, and so we should be getting into round 1 for map 3 here. With Têtes Brûlées going on defense and Raw Meat on the attack, as it is their map pick.
Ah, on est capable.
First objective, kind of a tough one to defend. And a lot of utility coming in from both sides. Smokes out onto the objective. Heavy smoke application coming out here, but Brûlées have invested in 2 push forward. I didn't actually see the nade that caught 2. Rufio and Wolf God both getting down. And although there is some shots through the smoke, well, it's this whole team stacked up on one side. But ultimately, that works as the reses come in and then everyone shifts off. Pablo's trying to push in through the smokes and managed to get inside of the yellow room. So deemed because of the yellow outline around it. And with these smokes out, Wolf God's trying to relocate. And this could put them into the enemy's line of fire. Llama, Jimba both go down. Brûlées down to just 2, and Raw Meat's playing good. Loose. After W's there with Haywire catching a kill. If they can get an objective smoke, the cap is in their hands with Rufio lacking a clear line of sight there. As Rufio does realize this, they try and rotate around, and they get picked. Tony was pushing up the cap, but a round win works well enough, and Raw Meat are really running away with the momentum here now, taking their first round W on Cargo. They led Subway, or no, Brûlées led Subway early. Well, maybe we'll see a reversal here from Têtes Brûlées on Cargo. Again, Cargo's kind of a bit of a gamble in a lot of ways. You don't necessarily know how things are going to go very early. Those early nades, the guessing pre-fire, a lot of it can pay off. Hydration here.
I shoot it. When I go to the corner, I shoot it.
Listening to some comms here.
I don't like this. Tony,
Makes you faster.
Ask carried Hall. He knows.
Oh, and an early start for Raw Meat. They catch out. Brûlées trying to cross up and push in for some early smokes. Jourdain is flying up to the objective trying to cap, but they're doing ring around the rosy with Haywire here. Finally, one of them decides to shift their direction, and Maxime does catch an on-objective kill. Pablo is there to defend, but Brûlées already have 2, and Maxime very close to capping position. Fire from Actual sets them up for that kill. Tony way out in the open if Manson were to decide to peek. They do, but not before Tony finds a kill. A flash comes up and over, and both players trade, and then Jimbo finds the back kill. Brûlées with one left alive. Take a round win. Blink and you'd miss it. That's the way cargo goes. And at this point, both teams playing pretty loose. You know, the series has been won by Raw Meat pretty handedly. 4-2 in map 1, 4-1 in map 2. The overall scoreline 8-3 there. And so even if they get 4-0'd here on map 3, they'll still have a overall scoreline win. 8-7, but right now they have a total scoreline of 9. So rounds 1 here do matter as they do determine how much you go up or down in rank. Raw Meat would like to, I'm sure, get another 4-1 here, especially on their map pick, but losing a round or 2 isn't the end of the world considering Raw Meat has gotten the W. It does matter for Brûlées though. Getting those round wins will minimize how much they go down in rank from this loss.
Non, moi je passe pas à droite aussi.
Pretty aggressive defense here from Jourdain. Pushes them up for 1 kill early. Some free fire here up through the middle, and another kill from Jourdain. Backwood finally catches Rufio, and Llama Actual right here on the other side getting pushed by Jourdain, but not quite. Llama seems to be keyed in that they've lost some, and Jourdain does push in for the trade up through the middle. Objective ultimately is covered by Wolf. Was watching the rotation, but not anymore. Backwood is past it. Jimbo is not on objective. Raw Meat has Backwood with tablet out, punching in the code. Another cap gonna get entered in between their noses. Well, if Backwood can get it in time. They're trying. They have defense literally running around them right now. And they finally got the code. They got past the defense. They snuck through. And with a pretty long cap time, they put Raw Meat up 3-1. Alright, we've seen longer. Nothing to be ashamed of. But I will say that it's always worth practicing, and I do believe it's a custom map that is literally just cap practice, where all you do is enter in codes. You spawn on the objective. And there's no geometry or anything, you just enter in codes. Good. It's a good thing to practice because it is ultimately one of the more important skills to be good at in this game. Dare I say, maybe even more important than shooting. If you can cap fast, that's a very valuable skill set. But this objective is definitely vulnerable to those caps, and so not incredibly surprised to see it happen, but still a risky play that pays off. Just taking a quick look at chat. Seeing Crazy in here, chatting it up as well. Appreciate you stopping by. I think I might have missed you in the shout outs.
We shooting the whole way? We gonna shoot? We shoot ahead of you?
See if Rami can get up here. Tony trades down. Pablo tries to push forward, but can't before Maxime finds the kill. Haywire, patiently waiting on the backside, does shut that down. Backwood catching Manzin as Backwood flies in behind this offense. They see the reds coming through. They scoop up a double, a triple. That's going to be it as Backwood cleans house and Raw Meat take a 4-1 victory. Quick work of map 3 and Raw Meat ultimately doing quick work overall with this series being 12-4. And Letep Brûlées unfortunately letting in some small caps, some very tight windows. Raw Meat really taking some risky plays to get those caps and getting them, and ultimately getting themselves a solid series win. Shout out to them. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on their potential climb through the regular season ladder to maybe potentially into Diamond. But yeah, fun matchup to tune into. Happy we stopped in, and again, a shout out to both teams for playing. Appreciate their efforts, and a shout out to everyone that was dropping in and enjoying the action. That's going to be it from me on the caster's desk, though. My name's been NightFiree with 2 E's. Until next time, stay classy.